Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to tell you how I put together this really nice, clean... Alright, we're going to switch views here. Let's use this video, okay, while I narrate. So I'm going to tell you how I turn this really dull plywood benchtop into this really cool looking one. I'm going to tell you why I chose this material here, which happens to be Formica. I'm going to tell you a few tips and tricks on putting this Formica on your own benchtop. I'll tell you where to get it. I'll tell you what kind that I bought and the kind that I recommend. I also have a bunch of other videos on my channel about this garage, all right? The floors. I tell you how I put these cabinets together, okay? These are DIY. Even these logos, I tell you how I did that. All the links to those videos are below. There's a bunch more stuff coming. Please subscribe. All right, workbench upgrade time. Now, this is a pretty cool workbench. It's over 10 feet long, actually. You know, you've got this 8-foot section here, and then another 2.5 feet or so over there. So it's pretty cool. You know, I did open this up. You know, there used to be a support here for the shelving. I eliminated that, which really opened the space up. You know, so it's awesome. However, one of the big limitations of plywood is, as you can see, you get it wet and it soaks the water in, or whatever you get on there, and it really just starts messing it up. I could probably sand it a little bit, clean it off, but you know, this is plywood. You don't really have a lot of layers there, so that wouldn't really go over well too many times. So I need something on here that's a little bit more durable and can stand up a little bit better to what I do on here, which, you know, it isn't that much, but it's obviously enough to make this look, well, like crap. All right, let's face it, the surface just doesn't look so great anymore. So let me show you what I'm gonna do. Giant sheet of laminate. If I remember right, this one is called Blackened Steel, so it's got a cool name, at least. I was looking for something dark. If it got dirty at all, it might kind of hide it better. At the same time, when you scratch dark surfaces, it really shows up. You know, it was really a toss-up. I know if you scratch the white Formica and anything like that, you know, the dirt kind of sticks in there, so I thought that would show up even more. And then I didn't really want a solid color because, same thing, dirt and any issues you have with the surface as far as marring it or scratching it would show up more. So that's why I went with this. Now I just have to figure out the best way to cut this close to 24 inches, which is the size of this counter depth, and with a little bit of hangover, and then I'm going to use the router to finish it. But this is 8 feet, and again, this counter is more like 10.5 or something. So I'm going to need to cut it in half and leave enough so that I can tack it onto the back end there, so I didn't have to buy 2 sheets. So let me figure that out. All right, so I've got the piece cut in 2 lengthwise, 1 piece here. I ended up cutting it using this router. I didn't want to turn this into a big DIY video. I always say that and then I turn it into a big DIY video. Anyway, I used a router to cut it. It does make nice, quick, super smooth cuts. However, it's a bit of a pain. However, you do need a router anyway when you finish the edge on any laminate project, so you're going to have a router. I would recommend getting a handheld router. I wish they had the nice handheld battery operated routers that they have now. Before I bought this, although this is a really nice router, the handheld battery ones are also very nice. Rigid has one that gets really good reviews. Almost bought it. I was that close to buying it. Wanted to also mention, they have tons. You go to formica.com and you get yourself some of these samples, like for free. You just order them up online. So here's platinum. Decided to take a look at that one. Blackened steel, bright white. You know, I've got a lot of white going on here. I thought it might be pretty cool, but too much white? I don't know. Rolled steel, very close to what I ended up going with. Very close to that one, but lighter. Rolled steel, blackened steel. you decide. Flat black. That would have been cool, but again, I didn't want to go with a solid color. Oh, you know, they even have finishes like this. This is like a marker board. Every one of these is from their hard stop line too, which is, they're supposed to be more durable, be able to take more of an impact. They tell you that they're not really made for a workbench. However, then they also at the same time tell you how incredibly durable they are. So, you know, go figure. These are all matte finish, and you know, I don't know if you can really see it, but I'm also pushing hard. And there's like, I mean, you really got to look to see those. They take a lot more abuse than I thought they would, honestly. Do some. Okay, wow. Yeah, this is awesome. I can't see anything on there. So here's another possibility of something you might want to try that I thought of, but I wouldn't recommend it. Something like a stainless steel, right? You think, oh, perfect. I mean, how hard is that? Super solid material. Now, and if you do put any scratches in it, you can kind of buff that out, or you can clean it out. I mean, it's stainless steel. It would be a pain, however. But the problem with stainless steel is if you're working on anything electrical, you kind of got a problem there, right? Because the whole thing's a giant conductive surface, so that would be pretty dangerous, honestly. You know, you constantly have to be putting something down to make sure that you're not shorting everything. So in that regard, I said, nah, forget it. And plus, it's gonna be pricey. It would look nice. At the same time, Formica has some of this stuff that looks like metal. Again, they've got tons of different patterns out there too. You want to make it look like wood, you make it look like tile, you make it look like marble, granite. Obviously, or not obviously. That was another thing I thought about doing. I thought about putting a piece of granite on there. You can go to the store and get some pretty cheap granite. I decided not to go with that, but yeah. I thought about using granite even. So there's all kinds of things you can use. You can even buy, if you've got a smaller countertop, they make prefab countertops, you know, with the rolled edge, and you don't need to, they do it without the backsplash. You could even have them custom made, but the pre-made ones, they're cheap. All you would need is to support it. You wouldn't even need to put down like this piece of plywood here. So, you know, when you're throwing this sheets of laminate down, you got to have some kind of surface already there, nice and flat, so that you can glue it down on. With the pre-made stuff, it comes on top of particle board or something. But yeah, if you don't have a really big bench, or maybe you do, again, you can custom make them. You could just buy one of these for like a couple $100, and you've got a pre-made, pretty slick bench, you know. Again, got these samples from Formica, ordered them through Home Depot, however, because without an account, you know, unless you're some kind of contractor, you can't order them directly. And I believe this 4x8 sheet was 65 bucks, so not bad. I've got this all ready and sanded. Ran the sander over the whole thing again. Not really to make sure that it was smooth, but just to make sure that all of the dirts and oils were really off of it. And also, because this is over 8 feet, there's a seam here. Not here, but here. And I leveled this to make sure that this, you know, there wouldn't be any bumps on it. I've got the 2 pieces of laminate here. Well, these look like 3 pieces, but actually these are the 2 pieces here, cut and sized out. Also, you can see that notch down there, the little mouse hole for this piece here. And anyway, the first piece is going to run to about here, and second piece here, and in case there's any gaps in between them at all, I decided to run the Sharpie through here to make sure that it's dark underneath and not any light, any white shows through. And I've got the edging. I put the edging on here, and I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit with, you can use like a paint thinner or something, just wipes any of this excess glue, this contact cement. And boy, this contact cement is crazy. I have used this laminate once before. I did create a screen for my projector, and you open this can up, and I don't know, I'm maybe extra sensitive to fumes, but man, I'm out here in the open garage, and it's just like an insane amount of fumes. If I remember right, years ago, I do have windows in the basement, but you know, they're the small window wells. And I remember opening them up and having an exhaust fan in there, and I think I had a heavy-duty mask on because, yeah, it's some heavy-duty fumes. So anyway, I've got the edging in. What I'm going to need to do then next after this dries is run the router over it and level this out real nice. Didn't really leave a lot on this one. I cut it almost perfectly, which is a little bit of a mistake. You want to leave some material on top so that you can smooth it out perfectly with the router. But I've never done a countertop before, and this is great practice out here in the garage. I wasn't going to do the edge out here in the garage, but then when I stood back and took a look at it, I thought it would actually look a little better with the edging on there, so it kind of looks like one solid piece of rolled steel or whatever that thing is called. Now what I'm going to do is get some dowels now to lay down, because once you have the cement on this contact cement on the surface and on the material you're going to use, and you stick them together, I mean, you can peel it back up, but it's not good. So you really need to be careful when you start laying this thing down. And honestly, it's going to be a little bit of a trick, because I have to slide the laminate under here first. I can't just you know, set it on this edge and roll it this way. I'm probably still going to stick it down here and then, you know, flatten it down this way. It should work out, but anyway, what I've seen suggested is to put dowels in there, and then you can slide them out. You know, you're supposed to, you know, have dowels, you know, in here like this, and then you start laying the material down, and it levels, it's above the adhesive, and then you start pulling the dowels out one by one and flattening it like that. It should turn out, and I can't wait. This is going to be pretty cool. Okay, something else I did, I still don't have my vise on here, but how I know where to put my vise back, since I already had holes in the plywood here, I used the T-square. So there's a hole, you know, around here or so. I measured, it is 4 11/16 out from this spot. So I know to re-drill a hole, 4 11/16 out, same thing there. 11/16. These edgings here, I showed how I clip these corners because the router won't get over here, and then used a file. Yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. Turns out I'm not so good with that file. You know, you're filing away and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, and then all of a sudden you hit a couple more times and you took a little too much material away, or you hit the edge and kind of messed it up. Those sides did not turn out as perfect as I would have liked. If you use a handheld router though, the radius on it, or diameter of the router base, is much smaller, so you don't have as much left over here, so you'll have less to cut and file. So I would recommend that if you don't have a router, just get a basic handheld one. Alright, so I finished up the benchtop upgrade, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty cool. I'm really liking it. Also reorganized the entire wall here, and I'm also really liking it too. Let me show you the whole picture looks like right now. Again, pretty cool. But specifically the bench top. You know, again, this is called rolled steel.